each other and at a fraction of cost and at 7 times faster speed. Okay, so I would suggest that you could actually look at those technologies rather than new technologies. I mean, that could be a way out in terms of addressing some of these challenges that you've just talked about. How do you monitor better? How do you access information better? How do you interact with the end consumer better? How to penetrate? Because see, one of the things is you're probably also getting stuck. My sense is between layers of people, right? If it's government channels, you know where the bottlenecks are. So information gets stuck somewhere. So with technologies like USB, what happens is you are able to reach the consumer directly. So your reach is far better, your accessibility is far better, information and the source of information and the validity of the information is so much more reliable in that sense. And these are all menu-driven things that you could do on the mobile. And that's what I thought maybe I'll cover across.
Yeah, to combine all of our things. It's from my personal experience actually. I was working as a government teacher for 12 years in government school. I was teaching from class 5 to class 10 students. So, and I worked in various parts of Assam, in various schools. I have seen the issue she has raised that they don't know how to read the alphabets. But now, if you ask them to read Hindi, after the TV revolution, Assamese students, Bengali students read Hindi much better than their own mother tongue. Because, they are constantly watching TV. And so those things come very naturally to them. So if we make our messages which are, beneficiary attractive, beneficiary relative, I think it will be taken care of more easily. So it should not be that, it shouldn't look like a health message because then adolescents will not look into it. So these are some of the things that I want.
So all this information which is being sent across, there's always a flip side to it. So there are a lot of schemes by Government of India. There's a lot of health programs that are going on. So when we talk about sending information over mobile phones, okay, how many of us actually read those messages, number one? And what is the frequency of receiving such messages? Right, so every program has its own set of messages being sent across, not only in health, but in other services, education, policing, and all those things. So we have to identify or rather, create a system in which all that information gets integrated as part of one single set of information and then sent to the user at the most appropriate time. In the time in which the actual user actually spends some time reading that message and getting some meaningful information out of it, rather than just sending it and there's no other way around. And there's nothing driving out.
Maybe we can just type yes or no.
It has to be an engagement model.
Type yes for this and type no for this. Maybe we can engage them in the.
So I think what has been coming out throughout is it's a push messaging that is happening.
Yeah,
So
easy, I think, for us to do that.
yeah, but then we are just doing a job, but not really realizing
That is the
problem.
So actually what we have seen multiple number of times, and though this is not related to exactly the topic that we are discussing here, which is related to health and education and etc. But what we have seen is a similar sort of a problem, and many times we've solved that problem from non-technology capability. So for example, that's right that technology can take the piece of information till a certain point, right? But what about the consumption, right? The consumption, like you said, that from an entertainment perspective, like make it entertaining enough for that person to consume it and comprehend it, right? Pardon me? And respond back to something like that. But it is also necessary that whether the information reaches the right person at the right time, right? So that technology can never ever devise that who is in the need of a particular piece of information at the right time and needs this information exactly at the right place and the right person requires it. So
we have the data set.
no, not that data. The point that I'm making here is that how we can use our peers, our friends and families to actually do something like this. And this is what we have done in multiple campaigns that we have done for private organizations, more from marketing perspective, but this is something which is highly applicable in this situation as well. What we call is a simple referral program, right? So I know as if I'm in any place, whether it is my family, my friends, whether I'm in the city or I'm in the rural area or whatever, I know who's suffering from what, right? I know exactly that what is the need of my family members, my children, my mother, my father, my brother and my sister, right? Even if that information actually came to me, whether I am the one who will actually forward it to somebody else, right? And we have actually created programs in the private sector where we have pushed out products and services to multiple number of people, but the focus is not whether you wanted that information. The focus has been on whether you know somebody who would require that service and that product, right? And more often than not, we have seen that these referrals actually work far better than assuming that this person actually, I was lucky enough to send that information to a person who actually needed it, right? So that actually creates a sort of a network which actually becomes like a tree where I sent it to you because I thought that you required that information. You possibly knew of two other people, right, who were in a similar situation. You actually forwarded it to them. And that is how we can actually get technology to build that tree, right? But technology really can't figure out that you need that information, so I will send it to you exactly at the time when you need it, right? But your friends know it. Your family know it that you require that information. So if anyone in the group should actually receive that information, should have the capability to pass it on to you. So which means that technology actually really helps doing that. And that is, if we can create that sort of a referral program, and maybe there's incentivization behind it. So rather than investing too much into the technology piece, if you actually look at that, if you are able to bring out 3 people, 2 people or whatever, the influencers, the people who actually have that knowledge, that if you actually forward it to 2 relevant people and they respond back, because technology can actually track that you forwarded to 5 people, out of those 5 people, 2 people actually responded, consumed or whatever. Technology can do that. Technology can recognize that. So which means I can actually give the benefit to you for forwarding it to 5 relevant people, right? And those 5 relevant people actually consuming that information or data or help or service and then responding back. So we can monitor each and every of those elements. And which is the kind of programs that we have run very, very effectively in the private sector, where we have seen that one person actually influenced 3.5 people, right? And that is where the whole concept of what we really do is sampling and referrals, right? Someone actually sampling it and actually referring and gets the benefit and actually referring it to other people as well. And that is where we can track, incentivize that person to actually have spread that message to exactly the right set of audience.
This is something actually very similar to the BCC strategy, which we are adopting, like this peer group learning and this success story within a community, and then it is very much similar as what I mean. The same way the BCC program is happening actually. So, if somebody gets some benefit because of certain program, then she or he becomes the role model for that community. And before community, let the family practices the same thing as what the individual person gets the benefit. Let the family perceive that, and after the family, let the community perceive. It is the same way as how the message is being propagated in case of the BCC strategies which are being followed in this health program.
Just to, just before you say, basically you are saying that peer group messaging and then multiplying it into referral 1 into 3, 3 into 9, 9 into 27, 27 into 81, whatever.
Exactly, and all of that can be actually tracked. That's the good part of it.
Tracking, so in the whole that we are talking, technology certainly play a role of tracking and monitoring in any case that we were talking about, cheaper, better and much more efficient. And don't devalue the messaging. Messaging has a value as long as it gets tracked and get it multiplied with 1 into 3 into 9 and whatever.
So one of the campaigns that we actually ran, we saw that one person was, in the end, when we were tracking that full tree, was actually influencing 25 people.
Yeah.
So one person was actually, so we could actually track from this person to this person. Ultimately, that guy sent it to another 3.5 people. That guy.
When you do the like and the share,
Yes.
then
And you
the
know how many
Facebook
shares
or-
Exactly.
how many shares.
Exactly.
Like retweet,
Exactly.
and then from the retweet, and one person who has got 2 million followers retweets your tweet, then obviously your impact can.
And you know what happens is that at that point in time, I may not even need to make the information very entertaining. Why? Because it is reaching exactly the person who needs it. And that person doesn't require entertainment out of it. That person actually requires that information. And it's just that it's been tracked to that right guy.
Depends on target.
One word or two words you can define crowd messaging and crowd sourcing the information. Both can be worked out with use of technology in our domain also, in the places where we are working.
Yeah, another important perspective of this technology and like what we actually face, what we call the bottlenecks, is about accountability and governance. So how can actually technology address this issue? Because like I've just been recently to Nagaon and like everybody would agree with me that like in the medical health service, what happens is that all doctors want to stay at the headquarters, nobody is willing to go at the periphery. Okay, then there's a district hospital. You have around 8 gynecologists working there and they perform only 4 C-sections in a month at night. So then how do you match this? Because then we always talk about there are no gynecologists, so no C-sections are happening. So what we talk about the unmet obstetric need. But then at a place you have 8 obstetricians who are working in that hospital, but they are performing only 4 C-sections, 8 people in the entire month at night. Because an emergency can come at any moment of time. Yeah.
Because on paper, they are actually there in that field are attached to.
Yeah, and the other important thing is like again about the laboratory technicians, like what he was talking about. We have, like we always keep on complaining about that we don't have adequate number of people. But then whatever we have, are we actually using them effectively? Like we have 15 lab technicians working in the district hospital, but there is not a single lab investigation happening after 2 in the afternoon. So how do we, so accountability and governance. So what we were trying to do, like why did we come up with this real-time supportive supervision thing in the first place? Because see, we have these sessions happening in the field, which we call the village health nutrition days or the routine immunization sessions. So there was a beautiful program designed to monitor all this. A checklist was developed and all that. So in the initial 2-3 months, like people were actively going to the field, going to the session site, trying to monitor everything. But then after a period of time, they realized that actually like nobody is looking at it. So they sit in their offices and immediately start filling up the checklist as to whatever they think is available. And so this need of real time, and like what you were also saying about, like actually going to that place, capturing the GPS coordinates, clicking the photograph, so which actually then tells you. But even in this, we have come across that people are even smarter. So like basically the people are supposed to be in the field for 3 days, they complete all activities in a single day, come back. But then again we have technology which can actually help us to tell us how much time was spent at that session. So we have the date and time stamp put on it. We have the GPS trails going into it to actually see. So these are actually many areas where technology can actually help in improving accountability of the system as well as the governance mechanisms.
I think what I am, yes.
I have a similar experience that I can add on to that. Like I said, when you
Abhijit, you have the mic.
So what I'm saying is like I also have a similar experience and I just want to add on to that. You know, we were conducting a KPC survey in our project. So this time we used a tablet for collection of the data. So this tablet was helping us to basically keep a tab on how much time our investigator actually spent in terms of collecting the data. Like the normal time that we were anticipating was somewhere around 30 minutes to 45 minutes to conduct single interview. So the technology was helping us to basically capture this information for every interview that has been conducted in the field. And also the GPS coordinates were helping us to make sure that, you know, the sample, so the survey has been conducted, which is spread all over the geographical area, which was actually planned in the survey. So these 2 things were really helping us to keep it happening.
So, one thing is very clearly coming is what we have is not optimally used and we need to monitor. That itself will solve a lot of problem of redoing the things. And that goes in health and nutrition, in education, in health, everywhere I guess. Because there are schemes, there are provisions, there are timings, there are teachers, there are resources, but they are not reaching to the place or the people where it is supposed to. So monitoring and evaluation is certainly a very big area that whatever investment we have to do, it is worth doing it because there is no point resupplying the rice once again, or resupplying the medicine once again, or rehiring the doctors once again, or for that matter teachers once again. That probably is, and beautifully, that problem can easily be solved with the help of technology, isn't it? So I will close by reading a message that I got on WhatsApp. It's very beautiful how technology can solve and create something which is amazing. It is so, you know, Uber, the taxi providers, Uber, people are very much in use. So Uber, the world's largest taxi company, doesn't own a single vehicle. Okay? Facebook, the world's most popular media, creates no content. People can't create content. They do not create content. Alibaba, the most valuable retailer, has no inventory. Airbnb, which is the hotel and accommodation, the world's largest accommodation provider, owns no real estate. It sells and puts on the web. People like yours and mine with inventory. Apple, with sales of over 200 million smartphones and tablets, does not own a single factory. WhatsApp, with 3 billion messages a day, does not have a service. So this is what technology can do. So what we can write, if we can write a story without having a single teacher, we made every teacher deployed in this school with the help of technology. Or with the help of technology, we made all the medicines reach to the hospital and the doctor and all the ICDS supplies. With that note, thank you very much. If anybody else would like to say something, please go ahead. Otherwise, we will
One short thing. Very short. Yes.
Can I advertise your organization?
Hello? Yes. From Mizo Special Report. All our problems can be solved with the project we have. Because we have, in Mizoram, there's a population is only 11 lakhs. So we have 1,30,000 members in our special Facebook group. So in our project, health department and PHE department and other department, we will work together. And this information will be fed through our Facebook group to the people who require at the right time, at the right time. So that is very useful, will be useful, and we will launch this Mizo Special website. On that website, we present every breaking news a very entertaining way. So everybody wants to join our group. So at that the advantage, we will use it to medical sanitation and educational awareness campaign to our website. Thank you.
So just to even though it will be very small, that Facebook can really impact our rural India because of connectivity, low penetration. But if the quality can do something, perhaps one thing which is very clearly coming to my mind, we can have a Facebook page. Every teacher who go to school, please laud them. A Facebook page which louds the teachers who go to this school. And that means it's like indirectly rewarding them for going to the school. So the rest of the teachers who do not go to the school can be figured out that who are those people, and perhaps they start going to the school. Can we try it? I don't know about the doctor. We can also do about the health center. But this is like a public platform you can create if you want. But having said that, I am not devaluing the necessity of the monitoring that we need to do and the device that we need to figure out for monitoring it. You still want to say something?
What I want to say actually, for having this type of examples, those who are going to schools and rewarding them, lot of interventions has been done like that. But it's the self-motivation which can only keep them at field, nothing else. No reward or no salary, nothing. It's only the self-motivation.
So I'll give you an example exactly opposite to that. Abhi just mere dimag mein aaya. Odisha mein there is a place called Gop. Gop is the name of a block and also panchayat in a village. they have a community radio called Namaskar Community Radio. Incidentally, they have a community radio, and of course, SMS and mobile is everywhere. What they did is that they announced on community radio in the neighborhood that please report anybody, any child in your neighborhood who is not going to school. Although it's infringement on privacy, but so people started calling and saying, "Mera padosi nahi gaya aaj school." So wo bachcha nahi gaya, wo bachcha nahi gaya. Then it became a serious, it's like a viral that everybody is complaining about the other that wo school nahi gaya, wo school nahi gaya. Is chakkar mein today there is not a single child who is not going to school, and there is not a single teacher who is not going to this school. Only because of this community radio and the mobile of calling them on the radio station, because it was an announcement. So they started feeling embarrassed that I'm not going to school, and it is being announced with the name on the radio station, and everybody is hearing it. So the Facebook is also equally loud, you can see the photo and all that. If you are going, by the way, I did not complain. I said loud the people who are going. I did not say the people not going to this school. Positive can also inspire, but so there are examples which can be taken. But thank you very much. Veena, you can close.
So now we have come to a meaningful end to the day. I would just like to thank each one of you for finding time and making the discussions very rich. And we look forward that a few of the things that we discussed today can be taken forward. And I'm sure many of you would have already exchanged numbers and contact details. So, this was a platform basically for cross-learning and knowing from each other, and sharing of experiences, so that if someone is doing something good, someone interested in doing a similar thing can also take it up. So we wish you all the best, and if you need any further information, we are available. I'm sure you would have our contact details also. So with these words, I would like to thank all the participants from PHED, WSSO, NHM, DHSFW, RMSA, DSW, SCPS, Digital Empowerment Foundation from Delhi. So that's it from my side. Thank you, all of you.